So John, you've been curating and programming the Valley Fest for what, 7 years now,
Yeah,
something
7 years
like that.
now, yeah.
You know, it has quite an extraordinary, eclectic, broad sense of music, which you've brought to the festival over the years. Tell us about that. What was the vision when you first started working with Luke about, you know, that curation, the programming?
Well, Luke and I were originally working on food and music festivals at other events, smaller events, and we wanted to bring music that was going to work with a food event but bring a kind of more late night party in. We didn't have a huge budget, so we were using kind of festival fringe acts, stuff that would work, you know, stuff that was new to people, new artists, and just interesting music, eclectic, different genres basically.
Yeah, because you got blues, you got jazz, you got folk,
Yeah.
and not just from the UK and not just local, international. I mean, that's quite a thing to pull that together and reach out and find these new acts, you know, new artists.
Well, I was programming various other venues, and so I was kind of in touch with, you know, smaller touring acts that were coming around, people looking for all different gigs, festivals. So we were slotting in acts that people would never have heard before, but we knew that would work with that event. And then as the festival has grown, we've kept that element of the festival fringe acts. We've got you know, Americana acts from America. We've got bands like My Baby who are playing this year, who started off on small support tours. They're coming over from Holland, and you know, acts from all over the world.
And actually, you mentioned, you know, My Baby. Now they've returned to the festival a couple of times, haven't they? Actually,
yeah.
Now, you know, I know you're always probably looking for those new artists to bring to the Valley Fest audience. But what is it about My Baby that brings you to return, you know, to the festival?
My Baby, they're like a, you know, a sort of blues rave band. You know, they've got that sort of spirit of Led Zeppelin, but they've got, you know, the beat of a techno rave. They just completely uplift everybody, and you know, it starts small and it builds and it builds and it builds. And the first time we had them, they were playing in a teepee much like this.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole thing was going off. And then last time they played, we put them out on the main stage, and it just creates this whole uplifting atmosphere.
And where the audience wants them back again, and so when you have that unusual, you know, offbeat act where people demand them to come back, you bring them back, of course. You know.
Yeah, they you know, they're huge over in the Netherlands, their home country, and here they've got a good following, but they seem to have a particular resonance at Valley Fest, and we have an audience that come back year on year out, and there's certain acts that people love to see again, and they're one of them.
Well, it's brilliant that even though the sort of the headliners have started to grow over the last few years, that DNA of that real eclectic sound has remained at Valley Fest, and that's down to you and the programming that you bring to it. So, you know, it's fantastic to have that.
Fantastic, thanks.